you need to be really careful of thinking that you know more than you know, and realizing that a little bit of knowledge is exactly that. It's just a little bit of knowledge. There is a funny story that happened in Medina, where we were in the Mahad, so we're in the Arabic program before you get into the Kulliyah, and it was amazing. The diversity in the Mahad was amazing. It was very rare that you would have two people in the same class from the same country. So you can imagine not just the national and ethnic diversity, but also the linguistic diversity, right? In most of my classes, usually I'd have maybe like one British or one Canadian student there with me, but no other American students, and so the amount of English speakers is very, very few. And that was funny because sometimes we would have instructors that they knew a little bit of English, and so if there was something that we didn't understand, sometimes they would act like, or they would assume that giving it to us in English would actually help us. Well, it would help me and my British friend, but it wouldn't help anybody else who didn't speak English. And so one of these times we were learning sort of illnesses and things of that nature. And so the teacher, he wrote up on the board, Suda, right? So like headache, Suda is a headache. And he writes on the board, nobody has any, it's a very theoretical sort of abstract concept. How do you explain to somebody in a language they don't know what's a headache? And so he tries to translate, he writes on the board headache, and he points to it and he says, Hadachi. And now everybody's more confused because they don't know Suda in Arabic and they don't know English, and the English he's giving them is wrong, right? And I'm the last person to want to correct, subhanAllah, especially a teacher, but I had to shake, afwan, excuse me. It's like, it's not Hadachi. He's like, what do you mean? It's got CH. It's got CH. It's ch. And then so I said, let me show you, let me give an example. And I grabbed the chalk and I roll on the board, stomach. And it ends with a CH, obviously, with a hard K sound. And he's like, oh, yeah, you're right, stomach. Okay. And he thanked me, he thanked me for correcting him. But it just goes to show you, it's not to, this is a funny story, but every single one of us does the same thing, right? We know a little bit about something. We know a little bit about fiqh. We know a little bit about the sifat Allah, right? Asma'i wa sifati, right? The names and attributes of Allah. And we're ready to go argue with somebody else about it. No, you're wrong. There's no evidence for that. The Dalil says this and that and the other. And you just know, you're out there in fiqh language, you're saying Hadachi, and other people who know it better than you are looking at you like, are you serious, dude? It's like you just know the ABCs and not even the rest, So humble pie is an important part of everybody's daily diet. Everybody needs to understand where they are and try to just focus on learning, focus on developing, not focus on taking it to somebody else or arguing your point, but just keep on developing yourself and be humble about, what it is that you know. As Sheikh Abdullah used to tell us all the time, either hafid the shay, nasid the shay. Like if you've memorized something, you forgot something else, or in all likelihood, much more than what you memorized.